Hello everybody, I'm Bailey. Welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be about a missing person. But I've seen a good bit of videos about different missing persons cases, and it got me really interested, not gonna lie. So I'm gonna do one. I need a video idea, and this is a good one because I really like it. So let's get started. Today's story is going to be on a girl named Brianna Maitland, I think is how you say her name. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm terrible at pronouncing things. I'm sorry. So Brianna disappeared March 19th, 2004. She was last seen leaving her job at the Black Lantern Inn in Montgomery, Vermont. Her car was found the next day, backed into a house a mile away from where she was last seen at her work. Here's a little bit of the background. So Brianna was born October 8th, 1986 in Burlington, Vermont. On her 17th birthday, which was in October of 2003, she decided that she was going to move out of her parents' house because she wanted to be more independent and she wanted to be closer to her friends. They lived 15 miles away, and they also attended a different high school. She later enrolled in that high school, but because of certain living arrangements, her living was unstable, so she dropped out in February of 2004, but later moved in with her friend Jillian Stout. They joined a high school equivalency program. 3 weeks prior to her disappearance, though, Brianna was physically attacked at a party by a female acquaintance named Kelly LaCrosse. Kaylee? I don't know if it's Kelly or Kaylee because her mom's name is Kelly, but her friend's name could also be Kelly or Kaylee. There's an A in it, so I want to say it's Kaylee LaCrosse. I don't know. The motive for the attack is still unclear. Nobody knows why it happened, but she suffered from a broken nose and a concussion. She did file charges, but they were dropped 3 weeks after her disappearance, and Kaylee was cleared from any involvement with her disappearance. On the day, though, that Brianna disappeared, her and her mom were just shopping midday. Her father had actually left and went to New York for his job, and earlier that morning Brianna had to take an exam for her GED, and while she was waiting to check out, Kaylee, this friend, she saw Kaylee outside and she had said something but she couldn't make it out, so she decided she was going to go meet her in the parking lot, and she told her mom that she would be right back. And then her mom said that on the way back to taking her to Jillian's house, she seemed really shaken and aggravated and kind of uncomfortable, so she knew something was up, but she didn't want to pry and ask, what was wrong, so she just dropped her off and they both went home. At the time, of her disappearance, she was living in Sheldon, Vermont with Jillian. We know this. She was actually 20 miles west of Montgomery. At 3:30 p.m. on Friday, March 19th, she had left Jillian a note saying that she was going to work and she would be right back after. So she left in her 1985 Oldsmobile sedan. After a busy and kind of uneventful night at work, Brianna clocked out at 11:20 p.m. She had told her co-workers that she was tired and needed to rest because she had to get ready for her second job the next day. So she left, and that was the last time anybody saw her. But her co-workers did say that she was, as far as they know, leaving alone in her car. So now we're gonna get into kind of what they found, essentially, I guess. So earlier the next afternoon, the Vermont police, the state trooper, was dispatched to an old abandoned house on Route 118 in Richford. It was about a mile from the Black Lantern Inn, which is where she worked. Her car was backed into the side of the house and a piece of plywood was actually across the window on her trunk. And 2 of her paychecks were found in the car as well, 1 in the car and 1 outside of the car. They found change as well, a water bottle, and 1 unsmoked cigarette. The trooper originally thought that it was a drunk driver who just abandoned their car after crashing, and he called the guy to tow the car and take it to the garage because he just thought it was a drunk driver. Days have gone by. She hasn't been reported missing yet. Her mother didn't even learn about the accident until 5 days after it had happened. Jillian did see Brianna's note that she left her on Friday, but Jillian was away for the weekend, so she saw this note on Monday and just thought that Brianna was staying with someone else at the time and didn't really say anything about it or tell anybody and just kept going on with her day, I guess. She didn't actually call her mom until the next day, which would be day 5. And then Tuesday, March 23rd rolls around and Kelly started calling numbers of people, asking her employees, her friends, people she had spoken to try and figure out where her daughter was. And nothing was turning up, nobody had any answers for them, and it just was not good. 2 days later, on Thursday, her mother and her father gave the police photos of her because she is now filed as a missing person. When the police showed her mom a picture of the car, she said it was instinctively revulsed and that Brianna would have never left it that way. So there were some sightings of that night, I believe most people saw. There was a man who drove by the house between 11:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. and he said he saw headlights on, but he didn't see any movement around the car. Then a second man drove by between midnight and 12:30 that night and said that he remembered seeing a turn signal blinking. Okay, weird. And then around 4 a.m. that same night, a former boyfriend of Brianna's was leaving a party back in Canada and was coming back, and he thought he recognized the vehicle, but he didn't see anybody in or around it. The last one is the weird one. The next morning, there were some motorcyclists who had found the accident, and they stopped and took pictures of the whole accident. Why they did that, I don't know. One of the motorcyclists that had taken pictures of it told them that he recalled seeing loose chain, a water bottle, a bracelet, or a necklace sitting next to the car. The Vermont State Police, who led this investigation for months after the disappearance, were still skeptical that there was foul play involved, considering that she was maybe a runaway. They had gone all around the area on foot with police dogs, found absolutely nothing. But then on March 30th, 2004, the car had been returned from the local garage, and Brianna's father said that he saw her ATM card, glasses, contact lenses, and migraine medication. But years later, the law enforcement finally said that there was foul play involved. So once her parents had heard that they concluded foul play was probably the cause, they said that she had to have been abducted by a group because she knew jiu-jitsu, so she would know how to fight off one person. If there was any more, she couldn't fight them off. So they were convinced that a group had to have taken her. So then a week following that, they had received an anonymous tip claiming that she was being held against her will in nearby Berkshire, Vermont, which is 10 miles away from Montgomery. The rented house was occupied by Raymond L. Ryans and Nathaniel Charles Jackson. They were 2 known drug dealers in the state. Their house was raided by police, and when they interviewed them and their friends, they had said that she had been into hard drugs like crack cocaine and was friends with Ryan's and Jackson. So, late 2004 rolls around. They receive another anonymous tip from an older female who implicated both Ryan's and Jackson in Maitland's disappearance and supposed murder. The letter contained allegations written in graphic detail that she had been dismembered and her body was disposed of on a pig farm. But her parents later told the police that they had gotten a couple of anonymous tips saying that she was tied to a tree and then thrown in a lake, so they really didn't have much at this point. In 2006, security footage from Caesars World Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey, showed a woman resembling her at a poker table. The woman was later deemed not to be Brianna. 12 years later, we're in March of 2016, and the police had said that DNA samples were found in the car, in Brianna's car, but they haven't released them to the public yet. And that is really the only thing we have on Brianna. Like, it is still an unsolved mystery. Still don't know what happened. And, man, I've watched a lot of unsolved mystery things here on YouTube, and it's crazy how people can just go missing and nobody knows what can happen. Nobody knows what happened. They just never figure it out. And I'm not saying we won't ever figure this out. We very well could, but it's just insane how they just go missing without a trace. And it really makes you think. I personally, with this story, I have no idea what to think. She just up and left. There were things in her car, anonymous tips that could or couldn't be true. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So in the comments below, I want to know if you guys have any theories, because I want to hear them. I want to read them. Like, I want to know what you guys think happened, because I'm so, like, torn. I don't know what happened. I really don't. So if you guys want, leave in the comments a theory of what you think happened with Brianna and her story. I'm losing daylight, I gotta go quickly, but if you want, follow any of my social media below, it's there, and don't forget to leave your theories. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.